Let me thank everyone for being here this morning. It's a very important announcement in the life of our community. As housing costs in Denver continue to rise, we're going to continue to push any lever we can find to make this market that works for everyone in the city of Denver. We want our residents to be able to stay in their homes so they can keep building their lives and building their futures. But too many continue to face challenges in today's market, including those in Denver who rent. In partnership with the Denver County Court, today we're announcing 2 new tools to support renters in our community who are facing eviction or doing all they can to avoid one. Working together with the courts, legal experts, community partners, and city agencies, we have developed a comprehensive tenant-landlord guide with an easy-to-understand breakdown of the rents for both tenants and landlords. We're pretty excited about this, as well as a list of resources that renters can access to support them in staying in their homes. And today, the city is launching a new pilot to provide free mediation support to people in housing crisis who are desperately working to stay in their home through community mediation concepts. This new program fills a critical gap in our system by providing residents the opportunity to obtain free experienced mediation support to help tenants negotiate a solution to their landlord to avoid eviction and court altogether. We all know that once an individual has an eviction on their record, it becomes almost impossible for them to find a new quality home. And it's an uphill battle, and one that is increasingly made difficult because of the eviction. And so that's our aim here, to stop these evictions from even occurring in the first place here in Denver. And all this is possible thanks in strong partnership with all of our partners who we're about to hear from. I certainly want to thank particularly the Brownstein Hyatt Farber and Schreck Law Firm for their support in writing this guide, and also for the engagement of our tremendous Denver County courts. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to our presiding judge, Judge Teresa Spahn, who will address us as well.
Thank you. I appreciate that. This has really been a great partnership to really meet the needs of some of our most vulnerable citizens. Mediation is proven to be a very effective tool for parties in all of our different courts, especially here in our civil court system. It's an opportunity where people can get together up front with the help of a mediator and find common ground and problem solve. These services will be offered, as they said, to people up front. This is one tool in the toolbox that many stakeholders have been coming to and working together with here in Denver. And if you think, I can give 2 great examples of where we see our vulnerable citizens who will be able to access this mediation service. One, a lot of times right now we're seeing many senior citizens, for instance, where they are struggling to meet their needs financially, and they're reaching out, and sometimes they're getting tenants. And we can imagine that there's times when those tenants don't work out, and it really undermines the quality of their life. And for them to navigate this court system could be difficult. And the help of a mediator might be able to help them resolve these issues that are going on in their homes, sometimes in homes where they've lived for 40 and 50 years in the Denver area. Also, I can think of the other end of the spectrum, where we see people sometimes who are working hard, they're struggling to make ends meet, and one circumstance happens in their life that changes everything. We had a case recently where somebody lost their husband and had to make the difficult decision to bury them or pay rent. And with the help of a mediator, they can get together and they can resolve these issues and find common ground. So you can see where this will make a huge difference in everybody's life. This is one tool in the toolbox. The stakeholders have been meeting together. For instance, we were able, with the help of City Council, Robert Kanish, to also get a caseworker in our court system who can help people who are in these most vulnerable situations. And these stakeholders and these groups continue to work on other tools that we can put in this toolbox. This group of stakeholders are making such a difference for our most vulnerable citizens, and I very much appreciate the relationship. Thank you.
For being here. Awesome. Thank you, Judge Spahn. As Judge Baum mentioned, these tools are being made possible through the coordination with existing city agencies as well as external partners. Denver Human Services provides eviction assistance or help with either first month's rent or deposit to very low income families and individuals. So far in 2017, they have distributed more than $155,000 to more than 200 households facing evictions. So in partnership with Denver Human Services, Denver County Courts, as mentioned earlier, Councilwoman Robin Kanish earlier this year, DHS placed an outreach worker in the eviction court waiting area to connect those facing eviction to any number of public benefits, including eviction assistance. And beginning in November, a new resource through the Office of Economic Development, the Temporary Rental and Utility Assistance Program, will come online. This program supports low and moderate income residents facing crises, such as unsafe housing conditions, economic pressures, or potential evictions that could result in the loss of their homes. Through this program, people will be able to receive help with up to 6 months of rental assistance or up to 2 months of utility assistance. So this program will help support families who may earn too much for DHS or Denver Human Service Evictions Assistance Program, but still need help. So these are those folks who find themselves in that gray area. With that, let me bring Jenny Santos. She is with Servicios de la Raza and Housing Advisory, a member of our Housing Advisory Committee.
Buenos dias, my name is Jenny Santos. I'm a part of Servicios de la Raza as a legal victim advocate. This program, this assistance deeply impacts our community. As a legal victim advocate, it's very sad, but we assist individuals that are going through domestic violence, sexual assault, human trafficking, general victims of crime. These are individuals that not only are they worried about their housing, but they're worried about their safety. These funds, these opportunities are going to assist individuals, not just only individuals, women, children, elderly individuals that are going through these circumstances. I'm also a part of the Housing Advisory Committee. Recently, we worked along the side of the city and developed a 5-year comprehensive housing plan to assure housing opportunities to families and individuals. In the plan, we placed a strong focus on how the city works can prevent displacement. This is a fundamental value of the Housing Advisory Committee. It's a person's fundamental right to have access to housing, and it puts good feelings in my heart to know the city has committed funds from the new Affordable Housing Fund to support new rental and utility assistance programs. That said, in the gap for people facing housing crisis like a loss of income, a potential eviction, or unsafe housing, above all, to help children, elders, families, and individuals stay in their homes. Preserving our communities and building opportunities for our people is vital to making Denver we all grew up in and love. Thank you.
Thank you, Jenny. Another key partner in all of these efforts is the Colorado Apartment Association, and I just got to say that they have been just steadfast in their leadership and their values and our whole efforts around housing in Denver. The Apartment Association is a nonprofit that represents many of the landlords here in Denver. What can sometimes be overlooked is that the landlords also want to avoid evictions. And so these new tools will help provide support for landlords trying to maintain occupancy and work with tenants to resolve disputes. Here to represent the association is Nancy Burke. She is Vice President of Government Affairs for the Colorado Apartment Association. Nancy?
All right. Thank you, Mayor Hancock. I got to tell you, we are so grateful to you and to Eric and Kate for all of the work that you guys have done, realizing the potential to create this 5-year plan called Housing for an Inclusive Denver. The plan includes avenues for innovative approaches in housing and creating public-private partnerships in our city. It's strong, unique, dynamic, and it works for Denver. It includes a partnership with the city and the courts to assist and guide renters and property managers in many areas, including the pilot program on mediation diversion. And we are hopeful that this assistance will just increase the understanding of the rights and responsibilities and to keep people in their homes. We also believe in education for all parties. It's vitally important. The Renter's Guide and the Mediation Diversion Pilot Program illustrate this. And there's more to come. We look forward to continuing this partnership with the city and to expand on these educational platforms and to really work to get that out to the people that need it. And lastly, special thanks go to a couple folks in this room. The originator, the first of its kind, a public-private partnership to allow property managers and owners to give those units to the city for workforce housing. That is Mike Zollner here in the crowd with the Downtown Denver Partnership. Thank you for this wonderful idea. And also thanks goes to the chairman of the Apartment Association of Metro Denver, Brandon Rich. Without your support, we would not be here today. So this is a great partnership and we're looking forward to more. Thank you very much.
Thank you. So we're going to wrap up, but excuse me. I want to just say that this effort is Denver remaining true to our values, and that is that we want to ensure in this moment of progress and prosperity that we continue to work to bring everyone along and not push people out. This is responding to really the question that people said we need housing today, or we find ourselves in crisis today. We can't wait for new affordable housing to be built. We have to respond today. So I'll remind everyone that this effort has three components. One, a well-written guide, both in English and Spanish, available for folks to understand their rights as it pertains to evictions or tenant rights here in the city of Denver, both for the resident as well as for the landlord. Two, mediation services that are available for individuals who need to have a little help in having a good, constructive conversation and support with their landlord. And then thirdly, financial support for someone who may find themselves in trouble with regards to their rent or need a little help, available, as well as utility assistance to make sure that they're able to stay in their homes. These programs will work in tandem with other affordability programs in the city and county of Denver in order to keep us a vibrant, inclusive city that we all love and cherish. And again, as I think Judge Spahn said it best, these are very critical but yet important tools in the tool chest of working on housing affordability in our city. And so with that, we're going to stop and open up for question and answers. Yes, sir.
Will this financial assistance be available within the 3-day limit for paying your rent if you're in eviction status?
Say, well, I cannot hear your question. Speak up a little bit.
There's a 3-day demand for compliance. Will this financial assistance be available within that time period? If I'm being evicted.
Oh, I hear what you're saying. Yes. The answer.
Yes, the answer is yes, and that's part of the goal of this, is where we can provide. So I'm Eric Sullivan, I'm the Executive Director for the Office of Hope. So the prevention assistance being provided both through DHS as well as rolling out in November through OAD will be provided during that 3-day demand period, as the goal is during the process of mediation, where there's an opportunity to reach partnership and negotiation to maintain families in their homes, that assistance will provide that opportunity.
And obviously, again, as Eric pointed out, the key is to avoid eviction, so that if as soon as you know, the better. And we encourage people to call 311 or follow the resource guide or to the resources that we have enumerated in the guide and available for this program. Next question. Yes, sir.
Mr. Mayor, I've heard some people raise the idea of eviction defense lawyers, people who would actually support evicted renters in court. What do you think of that idea? Maybe not now as part of this step, but maybe in the future?
You know, we'll continue to evaluate all of the options available to us. We have not necessarily fleshed that one out. Again, this goal is to avoid folks having to be in court in the first place. If you know you're in challenging waters, the key is to reach out to 311 so we can find the best place for you, either through the Office of Hope and Economic Development or the Department of Human Services, to get you to the most support possible. But everything that we has been those ideas have been presented to us. I don't know if they've necessarily been fleshed out and what they mean. Whenever you make commitment in terms of these types of dollars going anywhere, you must also understand the full breadth of the opportunities, challenges, and consequences when you make those type of commitments, and make sure you're able to sustain them going forward. And I think once they're vetted, then we can make critical decisions from that point forward. Jerry?
Speak to the scope of this issue. I mean, are we just seeing more evictions in kind of the market that we're in?
Seeing more in court?
And what's going on? I'm just kind of curious about how big of an issue it really is.
Yes, as we pull data both from the Colorado Judicial Association as well as Denver courts, we can see an increase in evictions from a period between 2015 to 2016, an increase of roughly 800 to 900 cases. So if you look at the broad scope of total eviction cases that have occurred, this program, in partnership with the courts, will provide an opportunity to divert some of those cases to, number one, keep families in their homes, and then number two, provide an alternative for going through the eviction process, alleviating more opportunity for families to remain in our communities.
You know, and I just wanted to follow up with the one question that you asked. I mentioned earlier that there are still stakeholders looking at to see how we can complete our toolbox. And so I know you asked about possibly there being counsel, you know, for people who qualify in civil cases, maybe not just eviction cases. And I know that there are a group of stakeholders, including two of our judges who are looking at that. There's models nationally that they're looking at, so that is not off the table, but, you know, we're building it as we have the opportunity to build it. And I just want to add too on one other comment. I mentioned on a case specific that this toolbox was able to help. I mentioned that there was somebody who lost her husband, and when she came to our court, to eviction court, what she didn't realize, but for the caseworker who was there from the Department of Health and Human Services, is that there was a place that she could go to get the funding to pay for her husband that she lost, and then she was able to get immediately back on track with the rent and was not evicted and didn't have that on her record, which changes your life. So I just wanted to add those two pieces.
Very good, very good. Yes, any others? All right, thank you all very much. Thank you all.